Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us here. I'm Chris Hammond. I'm the CTO for Narrative Science, and I'm with
Tim Bixler. I'm a managing director at Credit Suisse and in charge of the global Holt Group.
Right. And today we're going to talk about narrative science, but I think much more importantly, we're going to talk about insight, communication, and partnership. Narrative Science is a technology company, and you can tell that I'm the technologist and Tim is the business guy because Tim actually is wearing a tie. We're a technology company, and our core technology is a platform called Quill. And what Quill does is one thing very straightforwardly and simply. We take data that is numerical and symbolic data. We mine that data for insight and meaning. And then we actually transform that insight and meaning into English. That is, reporting in narrative form that explains what is going on at the data level in a way that anyone can read. People who don't have skills with spreadsheets, people who might not have skills with visualizations, they can still get to the insight that is contained in that data. Now, it's not interesting to do that unless you have a source of insight. And what we're going to look at today is actually a partnership that we have with Credit Suisse Holt in terms of their Lens product that actually provides tremendous insights for investors.
So my group, Holt, that I run, we're a team that provides a unique and proprietary framework to our institutional investors who are located around the world. Our clients run the gamut from hedge funds to long-onlys, et cetera. And what we do in order to start the process is we begin with a raw data feed from 16 different data vendors. We have 20,000 companies in our database. We have over 550 data points per company per year, and we have between 20 and 40 years worth of data for each company in our data set. So you can imagine the amount of information that we have. So we start with that raw data, and then we make adjustments to it. In aggregate, we make about 15,000 calculations per company. We adjust for things like inflation, off-balance sheet assets to make the information comparable. And all of that information is summarized in this pretty chart that we see in the Holt Lens product. And keep in mind, behind here are thousands of data points that make up this pretty picture. And there's insights, there's an evaluation section, there's a risk section. And to a novice user, even though we're very proud of the layout here, which we think is pretty simple to understand, it can be a bit overwhelming. So what does this mean? We currently have 20 people that are located around the world who each spend a portion of their time writing a summary of what they see with the information here. The problems with the current setup are, number one, consistency. I have 20 people who are writing things that have different writing styles. Number two, I've been doing this for 25 years. I may pick up nuances in the information and the data that someone with 18 months of experience might miss. Three, and this is very important, quality and writing skills. For some of our employees, English is a second language, so we spend a lot of time and effort editing the summaries that these folks are writing. And finally, scale. We have 1,500 of these summaries that are currently written. Keep in mind we have 20,000 companies, and my goal is to get to 5,000. So when we began the partnership with Narrative Science, we passed to them 2,000 data points, and then we let them do their magic. And I don't know what they do with it, but we're about to see.
Alrighty. So once the data comes to us, what we do is we hand it to Quill. And Quill takes this, what is functionally a spreadsheet of data describing these companies along various attribute levels, and we hand it to Quill. And what Quill does is initially it looks at that data and it analyzes that data for trends, for correlations, for differences, and it finds facts and extracts those facts from the data level. But facts alone are uninteresting. And so the second step is to take those facts and put on a layer of interpretation. Make decisions about which facts are more or less important for the domain and more or less impactful and interesting for the people who are going to read these reports. All of this is done by Quill once it's been configured for this particular product. After it's got the assessment of the interpretation, after it's figured out which facts are more or less important, it then fits all of those facts into a reporting structure. And for each element of the report, the system is asking the question, what can I say now? How can I explain this? And it goes back to the interpretation, back to the facts, back to the data to make decisions about what it's going to explain. Finally, once all of that is done and it has a representation of what it wants to say, what it can say, it turns it into English. And as a result, we go from that data to interpretations like this. From a year ago, eBay Inc.'s CFROI level has decreased from 19 to 15.9 in 2012 as a result of decreasing asset turns and a decrease in sales growth, although operating margin increased. In its more recent history, the firm's CFROI was affected by its acquisition of GSI Commerce Inc. in 2011 and Shopping.com Inc. in 2005. So what you get is the top-line assessment of what's going on, and you actually get down to more fine-grained understanding of what's going on even at the accounting level. The company's overall accounting risk is ranked as below average and is ranked as having poor risk in the following areas: accounts receivable and increasing ARI days, accounts payable and increasing AP, stock option expense, and asset quality. Its price momentum has been more negative than that of its peers, a comparison, over the past month, but CFROI revisions have been more positive. All of this is done automatically and then embedded in the lens system. And so someone looking at this can get not only an idea of what the interpretation is at the graphical level, but at a deeper textual level.
And you don't need to be an accountant to get those insights, which is the beauty of it. The benefits that Holt has seen from the partnership is, number one, the quality of the write-ups has vastly improved. The consistency is there, which was a big issue that we had before. It's objective. It's not a human being writing these. We have a consistent way that they're being written by the computer. And finally, scale. We'll be able to provide this information on 5,000 companies as opposed to the current 1,500. And my very, very valuable people can spend their time meeting with clients rather than writing summaries.
All right. Thank you.